Okay, so I promised when I started this podcast that it was going to be real life stories, real, true, raw life stories, mine and guests who we're going to be having on the show. But today we are talking about my story, and I've been reflecting back on the start of my coaching business. So today I'm taking us back to 2021. So I don't know if you remember where you were, but I know exactly where I was. I was working my butt off trying to rebuild my business because if you remember, we'd had COVID in 2020 and that had completely obliterated my first business. My first business was a training company, and literally 95% of all the work I did was in person. So, of course, when we had the pandemic, a lot of my training clients had to pull back. They were furloughing their staff, which obviously, they couldn't have called me in to train staff that weren't there, like their businesses were collapsing as well. So I don't know if you yourself have a COVID story, but I feel like everybody in business has a COVID story if you've had a business as long as I have. So this is my 9th year now. So yeah, today I'm going to tell you the story of how I signed 30K in 30 days. I didn't set the intention to do that. I knew I was going to sell my high ticket one-to-one, but I didn't actually say, I'm going to make 30K in 30 days. I didn't set that as a goal. I didn't really know what was going to happen. But what's inspired this conversation today, and we are recording for the show and we're also live on YouTube as well. What's inspired this is 3 conversations recently that I've had that were probably a couple of weeks apart. And in all conversations, they were with incredible women. I'm talking about women who've had very high level jobs, very credible jobs, loads of experience, amazing backgrounds, bucket loads of talent, loads of skills to bring to the table, and yet were struggling to sell their high ticket one-to-ones. I'm talking women who are senior directors, like lawyers, like high level jobs, women who are very, very capable, high achieving, results focused women. And yet when they're starting their online coaching business, even though they've got so much knowledge and so many skills to share, showing up in the online space and selling your services for the first time can be really, really tough. And anybody that tries to paint you the picture that it's easy, you need to run a million miles away from, okay? Because it is tough. I found it really tough. And I had a long background in sales and I still found it tough. And there's many reasons for that, which, I'll probably dive into as I go through this story. But let's dive in, right? So the actual outcome of the story was little old me. I signed 30K in 30 days. And just to be really transparent with the numbers, the way that I did that was 6 clients who got a 50% saving on a 5K offer. So I created a 5K one-to-one coaching offer, which was a 12-week offer. The 12-week offer consisted of me doing a Zoom call live each week with my client. And in between the calls, they would be able to access me on, at the time, I think we used Facebook Messenger. And so, 6 clients bought that with a 50% saving. So the full price was 5K. They got 50% off in exchange for their feedback and testimonial. And so they paid $2,500 each. So that was 6 clients at 2.5K, which adds up to 15K. And then the other 15K came from the fact that I woke up and told myself, come on, Rach, you've sold 6 of these. Like, you don't need to give a 50% saving anymore. Like, the 12-week period hasn't ended for these clients, but they're already making breakthroughs. Your coaching framework is good. It's time to take away the 50% saving. And I sold 3 at full price. Okay. So when you add all that up together, 3 at full price, 6 at half price, that was 30K. And it was in about 28, 29 days. Okay. So it was a last minute thing that I decided to do. Didn't even really know that I was going to do it. There was no sexy sales page. There was no fancy email sequence. the one thing I will say, well, actually two things that I did, which, and I've got these things like written down on post-it notes, right? So if any of you, especially those of you that are watching me on screen now with my bad hair, you will see that I've just held up a scrappy post-it note with the scrappiest notes on. So any of you that worry about speaking on camera, speaking on podcasts, running out of things to say, you'll see that today I am showing up in my rawest look, like my roughest hair with very few notes, and even some of them I can't even read. So yeah, wish us luck. The two things that I must sort of say that came before this, which I know now looking back, and I know now from seeing the success of clients that I've been supporting to sell high ticket one-to-ones, I know that these two things acted as a really strong foundation for the sales messaging that I took to market. And those two things are that I had been posting on my Instagram for 3 months with no real call to action. I was purely sharing value. I was purely showing my credibility. I was talking about, like my old life as a UK sales director. I was talking about my training company that I just had to fold. And a lot of that was focused on sales training. So I want you to know that this was not me starting from a standing start. I had 3 months of posting content consistently every single day. The other thing that I did was I'd held some market research calls quite early on in that 3-month period. I had gone on my stories and used some like polls and stickers and said to people, I'd love to pick your brains if you feel like you don't have a sales strategy, if you feel like sales is hard and you want to pick the brains of somebody with a 25-year career in sales, I'd love you to do some market research with me. I'll ask you some questions. You can ask me some questions. We'll just have a 30-minute coffee chat together and it'll be fun. So those two things I now know acted as a really solid foundation for me. So what I want you to take from that is if you're posting sales content every day, also I want you to balance that with value content. Yeah, a lot of value content. And if you're listening to this or watching this and you've just started your coaching business, please know that it does take a bit of time to build some traction, okay? Because you're really trying to put across, like your credibility. Nobody's going to work with you if they don't believe that you can truly help them. And so you need to go through that period of really showcasing who you are, what you do, why you're amazing, so that they can really trust and believe in you that you are the person to help them, okay? So those two things were very foundational. The other thing I want to share is that I think I've already said this. The sales page was basic. There was no fancy funnel, no fancy email sequence, none of the amazing things that I teach now. It was really, really basic. The copy, I know if I read the copy now, my toes would curl. I'd be like, oh no, like I probably would never put that out now. But, we learn. We're always on a learning journey, always. Every day in business is a school day. There is always something new to learn, right? And I know that if I looked back at that copy now, it would not be a pretty sight. So again, if you're sat here thinking, Rach made 30K in 30 days, but actually she teaches messaging. She's really good at copywriting. She's really good at helping her clients to, up level their messaging so that they can call in new clients every day. I'm good at it now, but I'm only good at it now because I got it so wrong in the early days, okay? So don't be telling yourself that, it's okay for her, she's really good at this, because in the early days, I definitely wasn't. So it was a really basic sales page. It was really basic copy. The thing that I did do was I set up Stripe link and PayPal links. I made sure that I had a pay in full option and a payment plan option. And for any of you that are thinking now, like, should I have payment plan, pay in full? What's the right thing to do? My absolute clear message for all of you is make sure that the payment plan amount, the total amount of the payment plan, so if you've got a 3-month offer, let's just say for round numbers, you've got a 3-month offer and it's £1,000 a month, what I wouldn't want you to do is say it's £1,000 a month or 3,000 pay in full. I would rather that you added up the payment plan and then deducted a 10 or 20% saving for the pay in full option. Now, the reason for that is, yes, you want to incentivize the people that pay in full, but you also don't want to be seen to be, and this is really important, you don't want to be seen to be giving finance, lending money, loaning money to your clients, which is what a payment plan is. You don't want to be seen as giving finance because you're not financially regulated. I'm not, you're not, well, unless you're a finance company, but I'm sure you're not. We cannot be seen to be lending money. And so it's okay to discount for pay in full, but it's not okay to charge for lending. Okay? What you wouldn't want to do is say it's 3,000 pay in full, and if you want to use a payment plan, I'm going to charge you £300 more, because that would be seen by the, sort of the authorities that is you charging for lending, and you cannot be seen to do that. So protect yourself legally, please, and make sure that you charge more for a payment plan. You incentivize pay in full, but when you're quoting the amount of your offer, you quote the payment plan amount, That's really important. So I'm going to give you 5 things that I did that I know helped me to sign this 30K in 30 days, helped me to sign these 9 clients, these 9 one-to-one coaching clients. And I'm going to give these things to you in the order that I want you to focus on them, okay? So if right now you are trying to sell high-ticket coaching, high-ticket one-on-ones, this is the order that I would want you to go and review and refine your strategy. So step 1 is nailing down the offer, the message, and the price. Okay, so making sure that your offer is really, really clear, that you have a framework to follow, that you can say in your messaging that when you come and work with me inside this offer, we are going to achieve this specific result. The more specific you are, the better. The more that you can make it personal, the better. And when I say personal, I mean that is specific, right? So if you can say the tangible outcome of them coming to work with you inside that offer is that they are going to achieve X result in X time frame by following X framework, that is going to help your audience to have real trust in hiring you as their coach. Okay? So dial in the offer, dial in the messaging, make it specific, make it really tailored to the result, the outcome, the transformation that they will get, and get really clear on the price. So we've already talked about pay in full and payment plan. Get really clear on the price. The other thing I just want to say on the offer is that I was selling a 3-month coaching offer, but what I also had within that 30K is I had a 1-hour offer. It was a 1-hour transformation where in 1 hour we would build out a business model and a strategy in 1 hour for £147. So really low ticket. But what happened was in 80% of all of the people that booked that 1-hour session, 8 out of 10 of all the ladies that booked it went on to book the higher ticket one-to-one. 80% of them, okay? So I know that you may be sat there thinking, well, I don't want to work with somebody for an hour. Why would I want to do that? Well, it's okay to work with somebody for an hour if the transformation that you give them can be given in an hour. So me helping somebody map out their strategy, I know I can do that in an hour, but I wouldn't promise to make them financially free in an hour. So the result and the time frame have got to be aligned. And know that if you are going to do that 1-hour strategy, that part of that call, although it's a paid for call, part of that call is actually a sales call. It's your opportunity to say to them, now I've helped you map out your strategy, or map out a personal health plan, or map out a money goals plan, whatever it is that you do. Now that I've helped you to do that, would you like my help to implement? Would you like my help to take it to the next level? That's the part of the call that's the sales part, okay? So step 1, is to dial in your offer, dial in your messaging, and get really clear on price. Step 2, and I know so many of you will be like, oh, Rach, this is the hard bit, is I want you to sell every day. When I look back at how I sold that 30K in sales, it was that I was selling every day. Now, it wasn't always bold, in your face, come and buy the thing messaging. Sometimes it was really, really subtle. Sometimes it was just a little tap of a story pole would indicate to me that that's somebody I need to follow up with a voice note. It wasn't click the link, buy the thing messaging. It was very subtle and permission based, because that's a style of sales that I teach, that I love. Permission based, which means the client is in control. Your audience are in control. They give you permission to sell. You're not selling unsolicited. You're selling with their permission, okay? So I sold every single day. And I know some of you will hate the thought of that, but when you learn permission-based selling, and obviously you can come and work with me anytime and I can teach this to you, when you learn permission-based selling, you will learn the art of allowing the client to be in control, okay? And it really is an art. Step 3, excuse me, is I offered discovery calls. And I know in the online space there's a bit of a trend now for, I don't have to do discovery calls. I don't want to do discovery calls. And I'm not saying that you have to do them, but I did them. Okay, so, sorry, excuse me while I slurp my water. I did them. And that was, I'm here to share with you transparently how I got that result. And I did offer 30-minute free discovery calls, okay? Now, I've got a background in sales, so I am particularly good at discovery calls. They don't feel pushy or, sort of salesy in any way. They're actually more of a coaching conversation, if I'm honest. But I did offer discovery calls. So if you've been struggling to sell your high-ticket one-to-one because you're trying to do it without discovery calls, how about you just give it a go? How about you just do 3, 5, see how you feel, see how they go, and then make a decision from there. But I wanted you to know I did do them. Step number 4 on my scrappy little post-it note is I leveraged my credibility and authority. So what I mean by that is I used testimonials from my other business. I used testimonials from my old sales team in corporate. I went back through my sort of like library of messages and reviews and screenshots and all the things. And I found the feedback that was the most relevant to the result that I was giving through this one-to-one offer. Now, I know a lot of you probably use testimonials, but you think maybe that you can't use them repeatedly, that you can't use them on a Monday and then use them again on a Friday. Well, you absolutely can, because repetition will help you to land your message. So yes, you can absolutely repeat a testimonial. Yes, you can use a screenshot more than once. You can also take a paragraph that somebody has sent you, like let's say they send you a message, or for me, I use quite a lot of LinkedIn recommendations that I had. They were long paragraphs, and you don't have to always use the whole paragraph. You can take one sentence, or you could take a little phrase out of it, and you could create a whole piece of social proof content around just that one phrase. So for example, in my corporate career, part of my role was to coach and train my team. So yes, they were employed. They weren't, it wasn't my business, but they were in my team. I was their coach. I was responsible for training them. And so when they had sent me bits of feedback saying, Rach, like that coaching session that we had in the car outside my client's office was like the light bulb moment for me, where I knew I was going to smash my target that month. That related to my corporate role, but it also related to me being a sales coach in the online space. So I absolutely leveraged all of that feedback, okay? And I want you to do the same. So just sit down, make a cup of tea, cup of coffee, glass of wine if you want to, and just sit and go back through your journey and think about all the bits of feedback, all the great bits of feedback that you've had that maybe you're not leveraging now. Maybe the stories that maybe you haven't got a screenshot about it, but you could just tell the story. That would help you to put yourself into a space of authority. It would help your audience to see you as that credible expert, because they are not going to buy. So I'm getting passionate now. They are not going to buy your high ticket one-to-one unless they believe that you can help them get a result. And they are not going to believe that through a Canva graphic. They need to see you. They need to hear you. They need to feel your energy. Okay. So I want you to tell your story, your life journey, your business journey, your career, whatever it is, so that you can really leverage your expertise. And if you're not doing that, then you are absolutely leaving money on the table. Okay. And then number 5, I said there was 5 things to share. The 5th thing is I used my diminishing diary space as an urgency reason to book the call. Okay. So, when I say my diminishing diary, obviously I was signing up clients. And so as I was signing up client number 1, client number 2, client number 3, my diary was getting busier and busier. And so those final few spaces that I sold at full price, I used the fact that my capacity was running out, my diary was filling up, which was the reason why they booked. Okay, so I know that a lot of you tell me, oh, I hate urgency. It feels really salesy, but it isn't salesy when it's true. It might be salesy and not feel very good when it's untrue, but it was absolutely true that I had already signed 5 one-on-one clients, 6 one-on-one clients, and they were booking space in my diary, so that when I was looking at my diary, it was looking like I had less and less time. So that is not fake urgency. That is very real urgency, because my space in my diary was diminishing. So all I was doing is saying, well, I've got Wednesday at 2 or Thursday at 10, but that's it. That's all I can fit in right now. So that urgency created the desire for people to book. If they thought they could just come anytime and book anytime, then there wouldn't be urgency. Okay. So if you're not using urgency, you are really missing a trick. Yeah, you're really missing a trick. So that is my 5 things on my lovely little post-it note. I'll just run through them again one more time for you. The 5 things I did that when I reflect back now, I know are the 5 biggest reasons why I was that successful at selling 30K of high ticket one-on-one coaching in 30 days. These 5 things, okay? Number 1, I dialed in my offer. I got really clear on what it was. That meant I could be really clear on the messaging. I could make it personal. I could make it specific. And I got really clear on the price. And I made sure that the price was aligned to the outcome. That's step 1. Step 2, I sold every day. Sometimes it was direct sales and sometimes it was indirect sales. Okay. Now, this is one of the concepts that I explain in my 22-day sales sprint. If you want to come and do my 22-day sales sprint, I'll pop the details below this video. But indirect and direct sales is, can really help you to get out of your own way. If you're somebody that says, oh, I don't want to sell every day, you can do direct and you can do indirect sales, and they both make you money. Okay. Sometimes the indirect sales makes more money than the direct sales, right? There, I said it. I put it out there. Indirect sales really works. So if you want to know what that is, you want to come and do my 22-day sales sprint, come and message me on Instagram or check out the link below this video. The 3rd thing we've talked about today is the fact that I did offer discovery calls. I know there's a trend right now to not offer discovery calls, but I did do it. They were free. They were 30 minutes long and they were very successful for me. The 4th thing that I did was I leveraged my credibility and authority unapologetically. Yeah, I wheeled out the same piece of feedback more than once. I used things that were from my corporate career. I used things from my old business. I didn't get in my way saying, oh, I can't share that and I shouldn't do that. I knew that the feedback was about me and therefore it was relevant. And then step 5 was I used urgency. I used the fact that the capacity in my diary was diminishing as urgency for people to book. Okay. So I hope those 5 things are useful. If you right now are selling high ticket one-to-one coaching, and maybe you've hit a bit of a brick wall, maybe you've got the odd client coming in, but you just want to sign more of them, I hope that the strategies that I've shared with you today have been really, really useful. As always, my DMs are always open. You know, my Instagram is @RachHowarth. They're always open for you. If you've got a quick question, I'm really, really happy to send you a little voice note back, give you a few tips and tricks, and give you the help that you need. Obviously, if you want bigger help, you know, you want to come and join a mentorship program with me, then we can chat about that too. But if you just want to ask a quick question, please know that my DMs are open for you. Okay. So thank you for being here on this episode of Becoming an Online Sales Queen. Thank you if you are watching over on YouTube. Thank you for being here. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. And I will see you on the next episode.